here, here, and here. We'll wait a minute for everything to connect. Let everybody pile in. It's gonna be a heated one today. It's gonna be a heated one. I am back. I am back. Thank you guys for everybody that's tuning in. Be sure to join in on the YouTube chat at youtube.com/crownrightsmedia. I'm going to go ahead and set up the chats so I can pay attention to what you guys are saying. So just give me a minute and pop out chat there. And then open up my chat here. And I think we're almost ready. But boy, is it going to be. I'm telling you. Hey, what's up, Grant? Welcome to the YouTube chat, Grant. Thanks for joining in. Hey, Marilee, I see you over there on Facebook. How are you doing? Everybody doing good, as best as you can be, I guess, during this crazy situation that we live in currently. Oh, where to even begin? Where to begin? I know this is an early live stream. There's a time difference, so it's technically 6:30 on the East Coast. So we'll see how this affects the live viewers. Hey Tim, hey Trey, what's up everybody that's watching? Be sure, if y'all could, pile into the YouTube chat, youtube.com/crownrightsmedia. There you can send super chats. I feel like every time I do this is like when the preacher says, hey, if you can, could everybody just kind of move to the front so we can get closer together? Yeah, no need to social distance in the YouTube chat. Right, Grant. See, man, you get it. You get it. So, okay. Where do we even begin with today? Boy, this is that display is not working, but I'm obviously live, so we'll just ignore that for now. Okay, somebody says send me the link. It is youtube.com/CROWNRIGHS media. Boom. There. Oh, that did not go to Facebook, did it? Well, let's send it to Facebook. Give me 1 second, and then we'll start the show proper. Thanks everybody that's tuning into this. Really appreciate it. If that's not going to Facebook. Oh, that's because. Okay, got it. Let's pop that out, shall we? And cut my audio out. Okay, welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and start the show, shall we?
When a government can confiscate the earnings of the people with no restraint or no limit whatsoever on the amount that government takes, then government has become the master.
Didn't you say that all services were worth at least $5.15, and here there is a service that's being rendered to you personally, which you are not compensating at all?
No, I said to you earlier, unless someone decides that they want to volunteer.
During the election, all this enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders was taking place while people in Venezuela, under a socialist government, were starving. They were breaking into grocery stores to get desperate to get food.
For regulations.
Some regulations.
Regulation. What do you think should be the proper income tax rate?
Well, the best would be 0.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Law and Profits here on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. I'm King Ginger, and man, the mercy of the wicked is absolutely cruel. I've said it since the beginning of the series. The mercy of the wicked is cruel, and wow, is it really, really, really evil. The Bible says the righteous man takes care of his beast, but the mercy of the wicked is cruel. So even the righteous man knows how to care for his cow, his animal, his dog, his cat. The righteous man cares for his beast. And this is not a show about vegetarianism and veganism. This is a show about the quarantine. And let me tell you, I have just been watching this stuff go down. I have been watching this stuff just transpire and take place. And I have to tell you, this is the absolute most discouraging thing I have seen since 9/11. This is actually worse than 9/11. I laughed. I did. Admittedly, I saw a tweet of some liberal reporter saying how coronavirus is going to be this generation's 9/11. This was maybe a month ago, and I was like, oh, gosh. But take it from the liberal reporter to see an opportunity for statism more than I did initially. But she nailed it. This is a 9/11, and we're seeing people lose their jobs, lose their businesses. The city of Arizona, or the state of Arizona, is locked down at the moment. Not terribly, by the way. Shout out to Governor Ducey. I think he's issued a plan that's relatively decent. It sort of encourages people to stay home without mandating it, which is probably the best of all the 50 states I've seen right now, to be fair. I think he just issued the decree, and in it says, at no time shall any person have to give any sort of justification or documentation to prove that his activity is essential. And I was like, great. It's fantastic. So I didn't really expect a lot of change, because after all, at no point is anybody supposed to give any documentation to prove that their business is essential. And then this afternoon, we were preaching to the masses at Costco. We went to the abortion clinic. And then on my way home, I stopped at my vape shop. And let me tell you, a fire kicked in like I haven't seen. I guess I know a lot of people have already lost their jobs. A lot of people have already maybe been sick with coronavirus. Some people I'm sure have lost members of their family because of it. But it hasn't affected me. I know this, it doesn't seem like the same thing as losing your family member. I'm not trying to make that comparison at all. Not even in the slightest. But this was the first time that this virus has actually personally come into my sphere of I know it's just the vape shop, right? Let me tell you what happened. So I pull up to the vape shop, and one of the employees who I recognize and recognizes me, which is why I go there, by the way, because there's very few businesses that you can go to nowadays where the people actually recognize you, where they know your name, they know what you order. There's very few places like that. I find that at the vape shop, it's very nice to see that. You don't really see that. You don't go to McDonald's, they don't know your name or your order. You go to even like very, very rarely, even a mom and pop restaurant, the employees are around long enough that they know your order. But the vape shop, they know my order. And I saw one of the employees. She's out on the curb. I thought she might have been leaving work. Well, she was leaving work. It just wasn't a shift change. She comes to my door. She sees me right away. She says, "Hey, Marcus." She looks sad. I knew immediately as soon as she came to my door. I was like, oh, man, got him. And so she tells me that they were planning on staying open, but somebody some snitchy little socialist called the police, and the police showed up and shut them down by threat of a gun, of course, by threat of a tank, by threat of whatever lethal force they could do to shut them down. They did, and I know what you're saying. It's not like the police officer went in there with a gun pointed at someone's head and told them to shut down. But that would have been the next step if they didn't. Because, again, the only way the state can enforce anything is through threats of violence. It's the only way. That's why the Bible says that state is an avenger of God's wrath and not an agent of mercy. So the police came to their store like they were criminals, like they were illegal drug dealers. I admit that they are indeed drug dealers. But, yeah, so the store, they shut them down. She told me that I had an order of vape juice, which is, by the way, it's custom. It's not something that you can just get anywhere. They're handmade. And she said that I had one. They had one ready for me because they know I come in there a lot. They always have one ready for me, even if I forget to pay for one in advance, like they like you to do. They always have one ready for me. So she said there's one ready for me that I already paid for, and she went in and she got it for me, and she just said they're not making this anymore. They're not making it anymore until they've cut everybody's hours. She said there's one more that they have waiting for me that I can pay for, but I have to order it online, and I have to have it mailed to me, delivered, which of course I'm going to do. But the sad thing for me was she was telling me about the people who have lost hours. That the people that work there, they don't make a lot of money. I'd be surprised if they made minimum wage. Oh, I mean, they did make anything above minimum wage. Obviously, the government, by threat of a gun, makes people get paid minimum wage. But I don't think they get paid much more than that. And the reason I go to this vape shop is because of the owner. The owner's name is David, by the way. And David, I started going to this vape shop when I first moved to Arizona. I found it. And I've only gone to this place unless I'm out of town and there's an emergency. I've only ever gone to this place. And he started with one of these vape shops, and he's built 3 of them around the Phoenix metro area. And just like that, police come to the store and shut it down because some snitchy socialist called the cops and claimed that they were non-essential. This has a purpose and a meaning. I'm going to get to. There's a much broader point here than just closing down a vape shop. But I want you guys to think on the fact that the police were so quick to shut down this vape shop because some snitchy socialist HOA owner had to be guaranteed she's on the board of an HOA. This is the 100%. 100%. 100% HOA owner, fussy, called the police and said, "Officer, I'd like to report a crime." And that crime is this vape shop that's open. Vape shops are not essential. And I agree with the definition. A vape shop isn't technically essential, but it's essential for those employees. It's essential for those employees that work there. It's essential for David, who owns those 3 stores. He doesn't have millions of dollars. He tells me about how the business struggles and all these sort of things. That just comes with being a small business owner and fighting the government as a small business owner, especially in an industry that's begging the government not to regulate them out of existence like they are. And they don't have the massive resources of, say, big tobacco, like cigar lounges have Cigar Rights of America, a political lobby to fight for them on their behalf. But this vape shop doesn't. Somebody says, Grant says cigar lounges are closing left and right. Yeah, mom pop cigar lounges, I mean, there's no way they can be open during this time. So it was, for me, the first time that a business I attend to regularly, who I care about more than just the product that they sell, the people there, all these things, was shut down because of this thing. And so it brings me back to the police officer. And this is really important. This is why this matters. There was a police officer that went to this store at the request of someone who called and shut this place down. So that takes me to Texas, just 2 states away, 2 states east of Arizona. Texas is, of course, in a mandatory quarantine as well. The only difference in Texas is that the governor said abortion clinics are not essential. Abortion clinics are not essential. And that was taken to the Supreme Court of the state. The state Supreme Court voted, no, they are essential. We have to keep the abortion clinics open. And then it went to the federal appeals court. And the federal appeals court said, no, they don't have to keep abortion clinics open. They're not essential. Women can wait a month or 2 for this to clear out, for them to murder their baby. And if it's an actual emergency, you know what they can do? They can go to the hospital just like most people do for an actual emergency. So anyway, by order of the federal courts of Texas, by order of the federal courts of Texas, the Supreme Courts are not allowed to be open, just like vape shops in Arizona. The Supreme Court said that abortion clinics in Texas cannot be open, just like the vape shop in Arizona. So let me ask you, where is the snitching socialist and the police officer that's going to march into the abortion clinic in Texas and shut this place down? Why is there a double standard? Well, he's not a snitching socialist. He's not even a socialist at all, but he is an apologist. The one and only Cy Tim Bruggencate was the man, and Cy Tim Bruggencate went to this abortion clinic in Texas, in Houston, Texas, and demanded that they be shut down. And let me tell you what, guys, this video is awesome. So I'm just going to start it past, I already kind of gave the summary. The abortion clinic is not allowed to be open. The police show up, and I'm going to start where the police are. The police, remember now, the police show up. I skipped through the part, but when the police first get there, the police tell Cy Tim Bruggencate, do not block the driveway, right? Because the police officer there is there, to make sure that the pro-life people are not breaking any laws. However, as you shall see, they're not there to make sure that the abortion clinic isn't breaking any laws. So let's go ahead and play this. This is absolutely critical. By the way, if you're chatting with me on Facebook, you might realize I'm not really paying attention to it. If you go to youtube.com/CrownKnightsMedia, I am paying attention to that chat, and I'm guaranteed to interact with that chat the most. And I'm absolutely 100% guaranteed to interact with the chat if you send a super chat. I stop the show immediately and answer whatever question you have. But anyway, here we go. Let's cut to this video right here, and let's make that a little bit bigger. And I think, yep, that should do it. So let's go ahead and start right here.
Well, it's a lot of things too. I mean, you guys are not essential, so you guys shouldn't be out here anyway.
Stopping it right now. Now the pro-lifers are not essential. They should not be out here. Which, by the way, is I do believe that Governor Abbott said that religious services are exempt from meeting. For religious organizations are exempt, so they would qualify as being essential. So the police officer who thinks that he's so smart, so bright, such a genius for bringing this point up. Now I'm not there. Sai's a great apologist. He doesn't need me to speak for him. But if I was there at that moment, I would say, great. You can arrest me for being out here as soon as you arrest them. Like, let's go. Let's go. Fine. I'm not essential. Arrest them, and then I will gladly, I'll zip tie my own hands and sit in the back of your police car, if that's what you want to do. But again, this officer is not interested in actually shutting down the abortion clinic. He is just there, to keep the peace. And of course, the officers are just following orders. I've heard that so many times. Police officers are just following orders. Yeah, so were the Nazis that went to the Nuremberg trials and were thrown in prison. They were just following. That was their defense. We were just following orders. Doesn't work that way.
We're essential, sir. We're saving lives. You're saving lives, so are we.
Well, I know my situation.
Yeah, well, we're saving lives too, sir.
I'm not saying you guys are not essential.
Well, we are, sir.
So, but whoever you need to call. I just got on the phone with my sergeant. Like I say, he just.
Whoever you need to call, just call. Well, I'll tell you who you need to call. I need to call the police. I need to call Officer. What's his name? Officer. We'll get his name later. Badge number, is that 5799? Is that what it looks like on his badge number? Yeah, that's who we need to call right there. And we did. And you're here, and the abortion clinic is still open for business. So do your job.
To come by, just make sure everything's okay, like we normally do when we come here.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Sergeant
Johnson, go ahead. I'm not a sergeant, I'm corporal. Yeah.
Do you know that it's illegal for them to do abortions?
This is what I'm saying, sir. This is what I'm
Okay.
saying.
He said, I know the audio is kind of hard to hear on this, but he says, do you know that it's illegal for them to do abortion clinics in there? And the guy, the officer shuts him up and doesn't really want to deal with that question because I don't know why. I don't know why. I thought that when I go street preaching, or when we're being harassed by the officers, the police, like we were actually in Tempe, in Mesa, Arizona, just Tuesday, we came into contact with some ruthless police officers, absolutely ruthless, very, very much bullies, and they were very adamant. They were very adamant about all this, and I just completely lost track of where I was going with this. Let me take this back 2 seconds. I'm sure I'll get that point again.
That it's illegal for them to do abortions.
This is what I'm saying, sir. This is what I'm saying about it. I'm not out here for that.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
I'm just asking you personally, do you know?
Okay, so the officers in Mesa weren't there to debate either. They were just there to enforce the law. But this guy is not here to enforce the law. That's the problem. In Mesa, they were enforcing a law that didn't exist and didn't apply to us. Here, there's an actual law from the governor, orders from the governor, abortion clinics cannot be open. This guy... Do you understand this? Like, this is just insanity. It's insanity. If we're going to shut these places down, if we're going to shut them down, let's actually shut them down. Let's not just write fancy decrees from our Capitol building that nobody has the guts to actually enforce. I mean, can we just enforce the law in Texas? Can we just take a moment and actually shut these places down instead of just using this decree that says they're shut down with absolutely nobody willing to do so, just as a way that we can get reelected or something? It's insanity. It's insanity. I told you guys, the gloves are off. But this officer right here, who won't enforce the law, there are babies being murdered 15 to 20 feet away from him. 50 feet at most. And he won't deal with it. And he has all the authority, and he has the order from the governor of the state himself to shut this clinic down. And he's a coward. I just lost my audio. Why did that happen? I don't know. Hold on one second. We'll try to get that back.
These people here have the right. The women come in. As far as abortion or whatever, all the governor stuff is going on. There's a lot going on right now.
Okay, these women have the right. No, they do not have the right. They do not have the right to be out there. The governor has decreed that these abortion clinics are illegal. They're illegal.
You know, as far as what you're saying, and I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong.
I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm just telling you, I don't have the guts to go in there, to be a man, and do my job. Now, if I wanted to write you a speeding, if they were speeding, I would be more than happy to give them a glorified tax for speeding. If they were doing a DUI, I'd be more than happy to do that. If they if there was like a building code violation, if they didn't have the American Disability Act's wheelchair ramps, if they didn't have enough handicap parking spaces, if one of their electrical outlets is short, I would be more than happy to go in there and give them a tax for not keeping up with the Crown's building standards. But they're murdering babies in there. And even though the governor said you can't murder babies during the corona, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm not saying what is wrong. That's not what I'm out here for. I'm out here to keep the peace.
Okay, so my question is...
And I just said, to answer your question, wherever you need to call, to get out here for is what you asked me.
When people are breaking the law, we call the police.
When people are breaking the law, you call the police. So I made a very valid, very basic point. They're breaking the law. We're calling the police. Now, where are all the people? Where are all the people on my Facebook page that have been defending every single thing the state has been doing in terms of shutting down church and worship? There's been Christians who have been encouraged. They've encouraged the state to shut down worship. Now, I don't like Rodney Howard-Browne. I don't like Rodney Howard-Browne one bit. And I think it's a judgment that Christians have to come to that despicable man's defense to say, wow, the government can't shut down Rodney Howard-Browne. The government can't shut him down for worship. He went to prison. And now, by the way, the governor has come out and said in Florida, I believe I read this article, right? The governor's come out in Florida and said that places of religious worship are essential business. And so I imagine that that's going to be thrown out pretty quickly now. But still, all these Christians came out really well-respected individuals. Really, like not weak-kneed, mushy, like really solid dudes came out and was like, that a boy state, shut him down. It's unbelievable. So where are those same Christians with the outrage over this video right here? You guys should have the exact same outrage. It's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. So someone said in the comments, or if Cy was blocking the driveway. That's right. At the beginning of this video, the officer made it a point to let Cy know he cannot block the driveway. He will enforce that law. But anyway, let's go. This is the most cowardly police officer I've ever seen. Inaudible, there's a train in the back.
I'm out here to keep
He says, I'm out here to keep the peace. Well, there's babies being murdered over there. How are you keeping the peace, Mr. Officer?
We're going to go back and forth. I already know how this goes. I've been doing this for 28 years, man.
We're going to go back and forth. You're not going to convince me with matters of the law. You're not going to convince me by telling me what I should be doing before God. You're not going to convince me with arguments of the Constitution. This happened to me. This happened to me Tuesday in the city of Mesa. We're preaching. We're using an amplifier. We have every legal constitutional right to use an amplifier in the city of Mesa, in the state of Arizona, in the United States of America. You have every absolute constitutional right. The Supreme Court case is Cy versus the state of New York. And I told that to the officer, and the officer puffed out his chest and was about to get he did the chest thud to exert dominance, to let me know that if I didn't stop correcting him on matters of the Constitution, which he swore to uphold, but by the way would not admit to swearing to uphold, he made it very clear he was going to arrest me. So we have this problem. The laws they want to, even the unjust ones, or the laws, as people say, they're just doing their job. They're just doing what they're told. These officers that are just doing what they're told. Now I imagine there was a superior that told him not to stop the activities at the abortion clinic. Not that he ever seems like he's interested in ever doing so. I do believe he probably had some authority from above to make sure that he didn't. And if that's true, he's just doing what he's told. Does it work? Does it work the same? To all the people talking about how all the church is getting shut down, but the officers who are enforcing these things, those officers are just doing what they're told. Well, what point does an officer defy the authority and do what's right according to the Constitution or the Constitution of the state of Texas? At what point?
And I've been coming out here for the long. Go ahead.
If someone's breaking the law, me as a citizen, who would you advise me to call?
Well, the situation is like I said. I'm saying it again. You're going above what's going on with Corona-19. What the governor and all them are saying right now. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Like I said, you guys shouldn't be out here right now. You guys are not essential.
Not essential.
You can say that, and I'm not gonna go back and forth with Sean.
Yeah. Not essential. Look, let me tell you. Let me tell you right now. This is an officer who, and I'm going to be very honest. He doesn't sound like he has a lot of knowledge of the law at all. He doesn't take me as somebody who knows really anything dealing with constitutional law, Supreme Court law. Even he seems clueless. He doesn't even know what the governor has decreed. He has no idea what's happening. He has no idea what world he is in. And yet, I guarantee you, if Cy or this man right here, who I don't know his name, I believe it's Murdoch is his last name. I could be wrong. Somebody can correct me in the comments. If one of these guys were to have stepped across the driveway and they would have walked in to the abortion clinic to place the abortion doctor under citizen's arrest, which, by the way, the citizens of the United States have every right to walk into that abortion clinic and peacefully place him under the abortion doctor under citizen's arrest and wait for a cop to get there and take him to prison. They have every right to do that. Jonathan Murdoch is his name. Thank you. They have every right to do that. If that were to happen, that gun on that officer's hip would have come off his side and he would have unloaded some rounds in the back of any of those guys that were to go and do that. But he's just doing his job. He's just following orders. We have to have a standard on which the government is to rule. This is why we have to have an objective standard. That objective standard cannot be based off of one officer versus a private citizen versus an abortion doctor, and it's just whoever's decision of what justice is at that time is what makes that decision. This is why God's law matters. This is why theonomy matters. Hashtag theonomy matters. This is why there needs to be an objective, universal standard for justice. This is why. Because you have cowardly cops who have no desire to be a man and go in there and shut down the abortion clinic and uphold their state constitution, but instead they're going to threaten the people that are out there who called the police and told them to come out there. It's insanity. It's insanity. And all you Christians out there, I love and respect coming out this week, and you were saying, the officer is just following orders. The officer's just doing what he's told. All the people who were saying, it's unwise to argue with the police. It's not the way Christians should do it. You shouldn't argue with the police. This is what happens when the Christians don't rise up in the public sphere and hold these men accountable. Because they're this officer, I want you to understand, this officer is literally letting babies be ripped apart in pieces. This officer is literally letting babies be ripped apart. Now, I know you say, well, that happens all over the country. But this officer specifically has a directive from the governor of Texas to shut those places down, and he's not doing it. He's not doing it. And at some point, you have to say that this officer is not just following orders. He's not following orders. He's disobeying the law. This officer right now in this very moment should be placed under citizen's arrest for allowing babies to die illegally in the state of Arizona. He should be arrested immediately. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? He's not just following orders. He's not doing it one bit. He's not just following orders. He's defying orders. That's what's happening. It just infuriates me. Because this is why this is important. This is why this is important. On one hand, we have Christians, good, solid believers, who don't understand that a church cannot be shut down by the order of the state. Now, I've said this over and over again, and I'll say it again just to be clear. The church can listen to the advice and warnings of the state and say, we believe that the governor or the president is being credible, and because of that, we're going to take extra precautions in how we worship. We're going to live stream for a week or two. We're going to see how things are. Or we're going to do the. By the way, I actually really like the drive-in services. I think that's a really creative thing. And and I think it's really neat. It's a great way to sort of gather together, but still be within the restraints. It's not perfect. It's not a permanent thing. I hope there's no drive-in churches that pop up. But I think it's really great because you can actually at least you can take communion there. And by the way, during this pandemic, I want to say that sprinkling baptism seems to be the most sanitary way to baptize. So just throwing that out there. If anybody needs to be baptized, sprinkling seems like a much more sanitary way than sharing a swimming pool with somebody. But wow, where was I? So where was I? So all this to say is, how can we expect if abortion were to be abolished tomorrow? If abortion were to be abolished tomorrow, how can we expect Christians are going to rise up and demand that it be enforced? How can we expect the thousands of corrupt police departments all over this country to just follow orders and do something righteous? How can we expect men who are in positions of power to have the guts to actually go into... Sorry, I hear something in my house and no one else is home, so hold on one second. Oh, okay. It's somebody outside my window. I was like, whoa, black helicopter moment. Okay. Where was I? How can we expect the executive branch of government to enforce those things? How can we do it? Jay says it starts with putting sheriffs in such place that will enforce the law. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. There were a lot of disagreements I have about Joe Arpaio. His view of prisons, I think, were incredibly unbiblical, and I think were cruel. But I knew that Joe Arpaio, when it came to standing up for what's right, he was going to use the full power of the sheriff's department to protect the people. I really do believe that. And there's very few sheriffs out there that are willing to do that. And that's the main thing. We need sheriffs that are willing to actually have guts and shut these places down. That's not going to happen in Maricopa County because the judge that replaced Arpaio was funded by George Soros. So we have no hope here in Maricopa County of that ever happening for our protection under this sheriff. We're in real danger then. And so but we have to consider these things. And this is why I'm starting to come more and more to the conclusion that that if everybody armed themselves and we trained our children to arm themselves and we got rid of all these stupid gun laws, that the only job an officer would have would be that of a glorified tax collector, doing speeding tickets, those sort of things, funding the city, citations, those sort of things. But if everybody armed themselves, the truth is, we wouldn't need police departments. We wouldn't need these guys. Everything else could be done through the private sector, private security services, and you could use agents of the court that would act as police officers and escort those who have been lawfully placed under citizen's arrest to a jail for a temporary holding for an immediate trial. It's pretty simple. All the other issues, whether it's like domestic abuse or domestic, those sort of things, most of the time they're responding to injuries that have already happened. And I think if neighbors were armed, neighbors could handle domestic disturbances and save women on their own. So I think we need to understand that the more we have an understanding of biblical foundation of law, we see that there's an importance of self-government here. There's an in this instance, this officer is restraining two individuals from doing what the Bible commands. And in this instance, it is marching into that abortion clinic under all authority given to him by the state of Texas to march in there and to place this abortion doctor under citizen's arrest peacefully, so that he can have a trial for murdering children during a time when it is illegal in the state of Texas to do so. It's absolutely disgusting and repulsive. So, this goes on. We'll play it some more.
So the question is, you probably have two options. If you remove me off the street,
no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that.
I know.
I'm not going to even go that far.
I
would not do that. I know you guys out here doing what you got. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. Now he would remove them. Very clearly, he would remove them for. If they were to walk past that driveway. He already said that very clear at the very beginning of this clip.
I'm here this morning.
I understand.
Because yesterday there was a ruling.
Okay.
From the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal.
Okay.
That denied their case.
Okay.
And legally they should be closed. And so...
You know who to call on that?
So my question
to
is, me as a citizen.
Yes, sir.
Who should I call if I see somebody breaking the law?
Fifth Court of Appeals.
Now, this guy, see, this is what I was saying with this officer doesn't really know how the law works. He's not educated. He has no clue. This man cannot protect your rights in any way. He is a hazard. He is a danger to the state of Texas and the city of Houston. He is a massive walking lawsuit that is just waiting to happen. Because he is going to violate someone's rights, and they are going to sue the bank accounts off the city of Houston. Because this is the guy who said if somebody is murdering children and breaking the law, you should call the Court of Appeals. What a moron!
They're not the ones who enforce it.
Okay, well, when it comes down, like you said, the Texas Rangers. Contact the Texas Rangers.
What's your sergeant's name, sir?
And see if the Texas Rangers.
So now he's just alleviating. He's just trying to move the goalposts and say, look, it's not my responsibility. It's Texas Rangers' responsibility. Call somebody else because I'm a coward and I don't have the guts to march in there and to place this abortion doctor under arrest. I don't have the guts to do it. You're going to have to call somebody else.
Your sergeant who told you to do nothing, what's his name, sir?
Sergeant Thomas.
Sergeant Thomas, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that.
Yes. He didn't.
Again, he's just following orders. How many times have we heard that this week from godly Christian men and women? Officers they're just following orders. Even though this order is clearly illegal. It's clearly in violation.
Tell me don't do nothing. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, I told you to do nothing as far as enforcing the law. That's what I meant.
Okay, there you go.
Nothing as far as
there
this.
There you go. I got you.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Don't say you told me to come out here and do nothing.
Do nothing with regards to the abortion clinic, which is...
How is that even any better? How is that any better at all? He feels better. How is that even a thing?
Take care of it. I had to get on the phone with my sergeant, what have you, because, you know, that's what happens. We come out here, it's always something different.
We come out here all the time.
Right. I'm just saying it's just different people.
We know the laws. We obey the laws. We do everything according to the law.
But like I'm saying, I mean that's good. That's a good way of doing it. But like I said, you know, you guys are not even supposed to be out here. You guys are not essential.
If we broke the law, who would they call?
So you see what I'm saying?
Right. Let me ask you this. That's a good question. If we were breaking the law and they called us, who would they call?
Who would they call?
You. Right. They would call us.
And you would.
Yeah. See, if the pro-lifers break the law, they're going to call the police. The very, very clear exertion of there is a very, very clear dominance being message of dominance that is being sent here. That he is there to make sure that the pro-lifers are not messing up. That's it. That's all this is about. He is not there to deal with the actual murders that are happening in the state of Texas. He's got more important things to do, like traffic tickets.
Enforce it.
We come out and same as what my man just said, probably wouldn't do nothing. It depends on the situation.
All right, let me see if I can call the right people.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
You came over there. I wanted to come over there and dress.
Appreciate it.
All right.
So, his sergeant told him to go in here and keep the peace out here between us and them.
So there you have it. This is the City of Houston Police Department. I'd like everybody, if you're watching this right now, I want you to take this video. If you can, if you're in the chat, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, wherever, paste a link real quick. If you could paste a link to this video. Actually, I'll do it. I'm going to paste the link. And so I want you guys to take this video right now, and I want you to paste this video. See if it'll... Well, let me send a YouTube video. Yeah, okay. So there's the video in YouTube, and there it is on Facebook. And I think there's another, yeah, this one. So let me post it here too. So take that video, and I want you to go to the Houston Police Department Facebook page, and we will post it. Well, actually, I'll make the first one. Facebook. Houston Police Department. Here we go. I want you guys to take this video, and I want you guys to comment and send a message. Well, I don't. Oh, they don't allow messages to be sent. I want you guys to just whatever post it is, just post the link to that video and demand that the Houston Police Department do their job and just follow orders. That's what I would like everybody to do. If you're watching this video, we have to contact the Houston Police Department. We cannot let them get away with this sort of insanity. We can't do it. There are a lot. There's actual lives that are at stake here. Far more lives are at stake than missing taillights. Ever in danger. So I would like for you guys to go to this page, Houston Police Department. It's at Houston Police on Facebook, and please comment. Let them know that they are not doing their jobs, and they have a responsibility to the Constitution of the state of Texas and the governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott. They have a responsibility to enforce this law. It's absolutely mandatory. It's absolutely a necessity. And it absolutely needs to happen. So I told you this has got me heated. It's got me upset. And for those of you guys that are just joining in, I was talking earlier about how the vape shop shut down because somebody called the police and said that they're not essential. And now a lot of employees have lost their jobs. And that should disgust us. It should anger us. It should make us mad. But it shouldn't make us as mad as the time the police were called to shut down an abortion clinic in Texas that is illegally operating against federal ruling. The Fifth Court Circuit of the Court of Appeals. They're legally operating there. And so I think it's important as we do that we comment and we respond and we let these people know. Look at this. People are already commenting. Look at this. Great job. Congratulations, Dawn. No. Let's see. Well, there's some more. Oh, there we go. There was one 1 minute ago. 1 minute ago. Damon, Matt Carabini. Thank you guys. Let's make sure they know about this. I know for certain that when Facebook mob a page like this, it absolutely gets back to the people that matter. So, Sai says, the people of Houston police are washing their hands all right. Let's see what this is. That's funny, Sai. That's funny. Yep, see, there they are. They're washing their hands of this whole thing. There we go. Great job. Yeah, there we go, Sai. Houston police is washing their hands of more things. Please do your jobs. I'm just going to heart emoji that. There we go. So if you're watching the stream, go to Houston Police Department, share that video, let the police officers of Houston Police Department know that they're in violation of the state of Texas and that they have to do their jobs. I've heard that so many times this week. The police officers are just doing their jobs. The police officers that shut down churches and religious gatherings, they're just doing their jobs. So let's continue. Here we go, guys. Great job. Great job, everybody. Great job. Great job, everybody. Anyways, that's it. So that does it for this show. But before we wrap up real quick, don't leave yet. I'm going to if you want, I can take some phone calls in Discord. So just give me a second to open up Discord. And if you'd like to talk to me, I can bring you in on the conference. And you can be a part of this show. So let me just get the link for you real quick to this. Invite people. Copy. Paste here. Send. And paste here. Send. And paste here. Send. And then if you want, you can, if you have any thoughts about the show, if you don't like something I said, if I said something that made you mad or made you upset, or if you don't agree with me at all, if you're a liberal, if you support abortion, if you are a socialist, if you're so happy to see the state expressing this sort of tyranny all over the country, if this is the tyranny you've dreamed of your entire life, if this is the power you've wanted the state to have your entire life, please feel free to join the Discord. And I will be more than happy. I'll be more than happy to take your call. So just essentially what you do is you just join the Discord and then let me know if you want to talk, and I will take your call. I will dial you in, and we can have a conversation. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, it doesn't matter. Cy, I love you too, man. Thank you so much for getting that video. I think it's massively important. I'm very, very, very happy that you guys did that. I hope you guys go back. You know what you should do, Cy? You should go back to the place and you should put crime scene tape up around the place. And put up signs that say closed by order of the governor of the state of Texas up. And then film the police come and take that down, defying the governor. That's what I would do. I try to think in terms of viral videos. Just throw some crime scene up between two trees, between that driveway. I don't know. Anybody else got any ideas? If you got any ideas on how to shut that clinic down, feel free to join the Discord. If you're in the Discord, send a message in the Discord. That way, I know that you want to talk and want to come on. Else, I don't know if you want to come on. But I see a few people that are saying they're joining the Discord. You should put some close signs, Cy. Like, you're really good at thinking that stuff. That's just the idea that I just thought of. So, yeah, Jay says, oh man, that'll get them to come out and do something. It will. It will. It might not be the outcome we want, but they'll definitely do something. And I think that's probably your safest way to do citizens arrest. Sai says they didn't like my stop, do not enter sign. Well, wait till they got the crime scene tape up. I'm telling you, man, that's what I would do. I would do crime scene tape. I would put closed signs up, not open for business, by order of the governor. I would do all that, and then I would just keep it up. I would hold. I would do whatever you got to do. That's my that's my idea. Charlie Prince has joined the Discord. Charlie, did you want to talk, man? If you do, I will bring you on. Let's see if so it looks like we got somebody in the Discord that might want to talk. Oh, Sai, I love you so much, brother. Thank you for everything you do. Just keep at it, man. I would not let that place. I would not let that place continue to stay open like they do. So, well, it seems like somebody entered the chat, but it doesn't look like they want to respond. So I don't know if anybody wants to call in today. Aw, I need like a aw sound effect for when people don't want to call in. But this has been a lot. What else is happening? I don't feel like my wife doesn't get home for like another hour, so I don't feel like wrapping up right now. What else is going on? Let's see. There's a news conference from the Houston Police Department about
that number to 506, and so that's what we have. Again, talking to the medical professionals. In fact, earlier today, again,
I want to see what the police chief says.
And then, of course, they can then spread the virus to someone else. So all along, the mayor's been saying, don't pay too much attention to the numbers. We have quite a number of new cases today. 2 deaths within 24 hours. We've not had that happen before. This is not the trend that we're looking for. Each and every one of these deaths is potentially preventable if people would social distance, wash their hands.
Yeah. I'm gonna be so sick of that word social distancing by the end of this. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now. I'm already like I'm done. I wonder what social media companies think of that term, social distance. It seems like it's like negative PR for them. Like their whole brand is based off that word, social media, friendship, uniting, coming together, be social, that sort of thing. And now it's like social distance. Mark, just post a note in the general chat. I don't know who you are. So just post a chat, and then I'll call you. So that's how the Discord will work. So. So Big Sam 53, did you want to come on? Is that what that means? Maybe. Well, guys, there's people entering the Discord, but they're not very communicative. So I don't know if they're just entering the Discord for the fun of it or what. Okay, Big Sam wants to come on. Sorry, 1 second. Let me. Hey, are you there? Doesn't look like he's answered the call yet. Gotta answer the call. Not gonna answer. Hello? Hello? Check, check. Hello? Hello? Well? Hello, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Just checking.
I can hear you. What's your name?
This is Big Sam.
And where are you calling from? What state?
North Carolina.
Oh, hey, thanks for calling, Big Sam. What's on your mind today?
Just the insanity of the police right now. It is driving me crazy because I have to be stuck at home, or else if I get within a few feet of the Greensboro abortion clinic, I get taken to jail. It's driving me crazy.
Is this Sam Wilking?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
Doing well.
Dude, man, you should go to jail.
I wish I could afford the bail.
Oh, I know, man. I hear you. Well, because I've been following that. Money. I've been following that thing in Greensboro. What's the fine? What do you know what the bail is if they send you to jail?
They haven't told me. I keep asking Love Life what's their bail cost. They're not telling me, and I can't see in the news either. What's the cost for it?
Okay. Go ahead and talk for me. Just want to make sure the audio is still working when I switch to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah,
Good.
I can hear you. Yeah. So that's what I think, because I've been following what's been going on in obviously in Greensboro, and it's just kind of discouraging to see that the police just keep arresting people. And it's like, I thought North Carolina was a conservative state. I guess it used to be, but it's kind of turned pretty purple recently. And now
you've got the governor he's a Democrat, so he's completely late term abortion kind of Democrat. He's always teaming up with New York's governor. Sometimes I've heard, but for the most part, we've got a conservative lieutenant governor. He's running. He's actually running for governor this coming election. He's actually more stronger when it comes to the terms of abortion, ending it. Actually, he's actually much more stronger on that.
Yeah. Do you know? I guess so. For those of you guys that aren't aware of what's happening, so this is in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they've been arresting any sort of abortion protester that has come out to defend lives. And so twice now, Love Life is the name of the group, right? Love Life has defied the police, and the police have arrested them. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about their case? Like, have they posted any updates as far as like whether or not they like the what the plan is?
Haven't talked about what's going on with the case yet. They haven't said what's going on. When's the court date? I haven't seen any of that. I know it's going to not last very well in court. I mean, it depends how liberal the judge is going to be, in my opinion. But this is it just doesn't make sense, because there's a church property that's down the street right behind the clinic that they're able to go to and pray to freely. They usually have a concert there or something, and then they walk down to the clinic on Saturday mornings. But they've been told by the police they can stand there and pray. But as soon as they stand on the property of that Japanese restaurant in front of the abortion clinic that they have permission to go on, as soon as they stand there to pray, they're going to jail. Just for simply praying.
What about you? Where were you guys standing when the police came?
Usual spot, that's still technically part of the Japanese restaurant property, and standing on that there's a little curbside area we stand on every weekend to preach so the mothers hear us, and we just did our thing until we were told to stop. Really, just the police were nice to us, but they obviously couldn't stand Love Life, and I think it's just all based off the city's biases toward certain groups there.
Okay. Well, hey man, we're gonna be praying for you guys. I'm curious how far like this goes. Obviously in Greensboro.
I forgot to mention there is a medical. There's actually, because like I said, Monday Love Life went back out there, and there's this Christian Christian pro-life van that shows up there with a free ultrasound. They're very nice people. They show up every week, and they were told to pack up and leave on Monday, even though that's an essential health service. And so they were told to leave, but now they have permission to be back on there. So I don't know if Love Life is going to continue on with this coming tomorrow or Saturday, but at least that band is able to go out there, which I'm thankful for. So there's somebody at least out there. So I'm kind of letting people who are able to deal with this deal with it.
Yeah, is Love Life? They're not Catholic, are they? They're a solid group, or what's?
They're very Christian. They're very contemporary evangelical.
Okay.
Based Christians.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well that's good. That's good. I'm glad there's some at least seemingly orthodox people that are taking the heat. So that's
and
good.
They're very sweet people. I enjoy talking to them. I've had lunch with them a few times. We're glad they're there. They're at least showing people, because they get different churches to come out and pray at least. But I'm glad they're letting churches come out and see the clinic.
Yeah. I know some contemporary evangelical charismatic folks that are really passionate about ending abortion completely and totally. So that's cool that those guys are pretty decent. So, well, hey, anyway, Sam, thanks for joining the call, and I appreciate having you on, and thanks for listening to the stream, dude. And,
anytime.
We'll be praying for you guys.
Thank you. Praying for you as well over there.
All right, man. Bye. All right, that was the call with Big Sam. Thanks so much for getting on the line. If there's anybody else that wants to, I see there's a lot of people in the Discord right now. So if you want to join, just type a message in the chat that signals me that you want to come on next, and I will give you a call. So while we're waiting for the next person to join, just some background info on that. Sam is part of an abolitionist group in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they issued a decree that said they were going to arrest anybody that's out there defending the lives of babies. I have to ask a question. Maybe there's some people on the chat, on the stream right now, that have defended the government shutting down churches who meet. So, for example, like Rodney Howard-Browne. If the government if you would say that we should submit to the government when they can shut down a church service, I have to ask the question, what about when they say you can't save the lives of babies? I think that's a fair analogy, isn't it? So on one hand, you say, well, the government does have the authority to shut down the worship of the saints. But do they have the authority to stop the saving of lives? Now, I posed the question on my Facebook page, and I asked, the question I asked is, if the government were to say, we are going to temporarily suspend your Second Amendment right, we're going to take all the guns, but we'll give them back. Would you agree to that order? 100% of people said there was no way that they would let the government take their guns, even for a moment, for the safety of people. However, they would let the government shut down worship, which is interesting to me. Just surprising to me that there's just, you're not going to take my guns, but you can take my worship. Like I saw like that was an actual thing. People were not okay with them taking the guns, but they are okay with them arresting pastors for meeting. Jacob Ross Miller says that he would be willing to discuss some things. Jacob, if you could join the Discord and just send a little message in the general channel, already in the channel, just type something, that way I know who you are, okay? In the channel, please. And then that way I can, and I'll bring you on. I'll bring you on right now. So I'm not getting any messages. Not in the voice chat. Don't talk in the voice chat. I don't have that on. Just talk in the regular general chat. Just say, "Hi, it's me," or something like that. There we go. I'm calling you now. It's calling. There we go.
Hello.
Struggling Ahmed, how are you?
Good. Yeah, so the thing that's been on my mind a lot is, since I'm a resident of Texas, has been that Texas is. I'm here.
Yeah,
I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're good.
Hello?
Yeah, You can?
I had to pause the actual live stream on Facebook so it didn't lag.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing that's been on my mind in all of this stuff is, since I'm a resident of Texas, is the lack of enforcement. We have many abolitionists all around at the Planned Parenthoods and the other places in Texas, and they're seeing just no slowdown of any abortion services, even though our Attorney General Ken Paxton has said that it's a non-essential service and it shouldn't be happening. I don't know if you saw the video earlier today that Seitan Bruggencate was there, and they had a police officer. They told him, look, this has been upheld by the Fifth Circuit of Appeals. And the police officer said, yeah, we're not enforcing it.
Yeah, I definitely saw that video today. We just did the whole live stream on it. So we know who's late to the stream.
Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah, we did. And so that's what we were talking about essentially, is that how do we expect to end abortion immediately if we can't even enforce it, the end of it temporarily?
Sure.
We don't have the guts to do that. So I think, I was talking to John Speed about this. I think that we have, I think sort of like abolitionists themselves are ahead of themselves. And what I mean by that is the theology is there. The ideology is there. The plan is in place. Everything is good on that end in terms of ending it immediately. But I think the main thing we see is just that there's just a massive repentance that needs to take place before any of this is going to happen. It doesn't really matter how many legislators we get on our side. It doesn't matter if the laws get passed or not, because even in the event that abortion is immediately ended, you're going to have massive rioting and stuff from these satanic Baal worshipers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, one of the things
about King Josiah. I mean, when King Josiah was getting rid of the idols, there was lots of worshipers still of Baal, is it Baal?
Yeah.
There was lots of worshipers still, but they didn't have writing. I'm not saying that that's 100% all the case. Obviously, in our country, it may be way different because we don't have a
I mean, it could work that way. I think it's going to be a one and the same thing. I think that we're going to repent and end abortion around the same time, because one of the things we tend not to look at is our nation deserves abortion in this country. Like we deserve that, and then we like, it's a judgment on us. And so when we're looking at whether it's abortion or the coronavirus or whatever, we have to ask ourselves, like, what's wrong with us?
Right.
That this is happening. Like, the sin is, there's always that inward repentance. And I posted about this on Facebook. You can read sermons. It's called Sermons from the Era of the American Revolution, Volume 1, I think, is Volume 1 and 2. And then there's just a bunch of sermons. I don't know the orthodoxy of the people in those sermons. I posted a quote from that was really good, but it turned out the guy was like a Unitarian Universalist or something like that. but ultimately all the sermons are along the same lines, and you can just see how strong the Christian worldview was that reflected their government. Like one of the guys, I might have been the Unitarian Universalist, but he made a point that this was the year the Constitution was ratified, and he was going through the 10 liberties, and he said that we live in a country. He's talking about the right to vote, and he was saying that we live in a country where the magistrates cannot condemn; they can only pardon. So in that way, our leaders are like God, and that they can only do good to those that he serves. So it was kind of, I mean, he's a Unitarian Universalist, so he might have had a lot more universalistic view of that, but than probably intended. But I think the point was there in that during the early early American history, they created a system, and they didn't give the executive branch the power to condemn, only to pardon, as a reflection of the mercy that God gives to people.
Right.
And so that but now when you look at our leaders, when we vote, we always think about the harm they're going to do to us, never the good, unless it's
Lesser
like
of
welfare.
two evils.
Yeah. It's always like, well, who's going to be least harmful to us? And honestly, I was talking to somebody this week, and it's like, man, didn't we vote for Trump because we thought that Hillary Clinton would put us all under martial law? And here we are,
Right,
and I
right.
think one of the judgments of Trump is that because Trump is doing it, the church doesn't respond negatively to it. Now, if Hillary Clinton would have done this martial law, there would be a war in the streets right now.
Absolutely.
And I think
you're
that's part
absolutely
of the judgment. I think that's the judgment of Donald
that's
Trump.
Sad. That's sad to think, but you're totally right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, man, struggling Ahmed, is that it?
Talmud, it's struggling disciple. Talmud is.
Struggling Talmud. Yeah. Well, thanks for calling, man. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about the late entrance.
Oh, no problem. So yeah, so there's I think that's an excellent point, is that if Hillary Clinton were doing what Trump is doing right now, we would be rioting in the streets right now. Right? But because it's Trump, MAGA, the God Emperor Trump, as the internet calls him, we're okay. We're okay with this. Just Romans 13, submit to your government, do what they say. They're just following orders. Thin blue line. So if anybody else wants to join the Discord, all you got to do, somebody says I can't listen and be on this app. So I don't know if you moved on, but I'm down to talk to you about government closing churches. Okay, Candace, I'll contact you, and you don't have to listen because you'll be talking to me directly and a part of the show. So you can listen through the app and talk to me, and that'll be the show. So I'll just see if you're down to call. I'll just call you right now, Candace. We'll see what's going on. By the way, if you're wondering how to call me and talk to me, you can join the Discord. I posted it in the chat a few times. It is right here. You know what? I need to start making it so it auto defaults that Discord link in the description. But anyway, so that's the Discord link. If you're watching, hello, Candace.
Hello.
Hey, Candace. How are you? Thank you for calling.
Hi.
What do you want?
Yeah, so I'm with you on most things, but this is an area that I don't understand where Christians are coming from with this concept that like we have to like hold on to our rights in such a time as this.
Well, the reason we have to hold on to them is because they're God-given, which means that they can't be taken away.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm saying I think the framing sounds wrong. Like, does the government have the right to stop our worship? Of course not. Could they even if they tried? Of course not. But that's different than talking about what's healthy for a gathering. I think that the Lord has provided, in this time especially, they didn't have that option in 1918 to do Skype churches or gatherings together through, various media platforms. But we do now. And what's the mandate that the Lord gives us?
Well,
is it violated by not going to regular church services?
Well, yeah, because there is something about, for instance, like taking communion that cannot be done virtually. So
but can it be done individually together?
No, it has to be done. The elders have to observe it. There's clear instructions. The elders have to observe it. They can't observe it virtually. It has to be done. Part of communion is exactly what the word says. It's communion. It's being together and being part of the body at once. So there's a lot of so one, by virtual church, you're not partaking of the sacraments. Baptism is another example that has to be done before the church because It is a covenant being made between the people of the church and the individual being baptized. So that has to be done in witness together. But also the issue is really more about spheres of influence. So, for example, the government has no authority to tell you that you can't spank your kids because your children, the Bible gives you instructions that you are to discipline your children. So the state can't come in and say you can't discipline your children. You have to ignore those orders. The state also can't come in and say, well, you have to send them to government school and you can't homeschool them. That's another area. So in the same way, the state can't come to the church and say, you guys can't meet. Now the church can take the advice of the state and say, we've listened to your advice and we think that you are right and correct. And so we're going to abstain from meeting for the safety of our members and love for our neighbor for a short time. And then we'll reconsider after a week or two, or every week we'll reconsider. But it's one thing to say that we take your advice. It's another thing to say we're not going to meet because the government said so.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yes.
I think that, and I agree with that. Like, I don't necessarily, I'm not claiming, was it Romans 13 is everyone's going to?
Right. It's just about general love for neighbor.
But
well,
and being responsible to take care of yourself and your family.
Right. But see, that's something the church can do without the government making them.
Yes.
And so that's the issue at hand, is like, if the government can say, because of this virus, we can order and decree that churches not meet. Well, what are other things because the government doesn't ever take back power. They very, very rarely apologize for exerting more authority than they should. So my concern is if we accept the government's force in shutting down churches now over this, well, what about next flu season? What about something else that has nothing to do with the flu? The precedent now has been set by a conservative president that this can happen.
Now, what do you think about the whole 1918 flu, that they did the same thing?
Well, like I said, I don't have a problem with people doing that. I also think businesses, restaurants. Oh, I think I lost Candace. But anyway, Candace, no need to call back. I'll just answer your question about the 1918 flu. The 1918 flu, when the churches decided, we're gonna quarantine ourselves. It's okay for the church to do that. I've never said that the church can't do that. I have two issues. I have, if the church says, we're not going to meet because of the virus, and we don't think it's safe, for, our church has, majority older people, so we shouldn't meet. I don't think it'd be wise or safe to meet. Then the church can do that, and the church should say we're not going to meet, or we'll give an update via live stream, or I'll give a message via live stream. But this is not church, right? That's one option. But the other option is to say we're not going to meet because the government said so. Now, in 1918, I don't know all the details of that. Maybe somebody can fill me in the chat. You're more than welcome to. I don't know all the details, but if a church just should have shut down, then they should shut down for safety, but not because the government said so. That's just the issue at hand. That's where my beef is with that. But thank you, Candace. Thank you for taking that call. Like I said, you can disagree with me. We can disagree and still be friends at the end of the day. My issue is one of just individuals being able to make their own decision. There's this lady that protests Apologia Church all the time, and she is constantly on Twitter right now complaining because Governor Ducey hasn't gone far enough to shut down businesses in the state of Arizona. Never mind the fact that my vape shop is now gone. And probably, honestly, I don't see my vape shop being able to recover from this. I don't think they'll be able to recover from this. Wow, why did I just lose my thought again? I've been really bad at that today. There's something with something. Never mind. Anyways, all that to say is just the businesses, the vape shop or whatever, they're capable of making the decision to shut down on their own, or they're able to make quarantining decisions. I don't think restaurants should be shut down. Oh, the lady. Yeah, so she's complaining. Yeah, sorry. So the lady on Twitter who protests Apologia Church is always complaining on Twitter that the governor is not doing enough. He's not exerting enough power. And so the point I made to her was, well, why do you need a man to tell you what to do? Can't you just quarantine yourself without the government making you do it? And the answer is, of course you can. And businesses will. Like it's just like, you know, the fast food chains are still open. They just go through the drive-through. They're still touching everybody's dirty credit cards, and I know they got gloves on, but I don't think they're changing the gloves out after every single time they touch someone's credit card. But they're still open. They're still doing business. And restaurants, I think, could even open in dining, and they could close off a bunch of tables and take less tables and make sure everybody's socially distanced or whatever. Like, so all these things are possible without the government operate. Look, there's probably going to be... Look, man, nobody's going to go to a Chinese food buffet now. Like, now is not the time to go to a Chinese buffet. I don't need the government to shut down Chinese food buffets to tell me not to go to a Chinese food buffet. I mean, you have a hard enough time going to a Chinese food place, a Chinese food buffet in Arizona anyway. And like the one good one that we have, definitely not going to go there during this virus. My wife says, no more vapes? So sad. Oh, my wife, I love you. So anyway, again, like the whole point of this is just quite simply, we can do this on our own. Humans are capable of amazing feats, and we don't need the government to make us care for each other. We just don't. And I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that the government can exert this much power, and every single day there's health officials telling the American people from the presidential podium about the health of our nation, we're very, very quickly going to have universal health care very, very soon. There's no way to recover from this. There's no way to defend it. There'll be, if Trump gets reelected, and I say if now, if Trump gets reelected, we'll have universal health care very, very quickly, full on. So anyway, back to the Discord. If anybody else wants to join in on a phone call, you are more than welcome to join in on the phone call. Just join the Discord channel, and I will just send me a note that says I want to talk or something along those lines, and I will cue you in. If you're on the YouTube chat right now, I will send you the link again. And then if you're on the Facebook chat, I will send you the link. You can join the Discord, and we can talk on the phone. And even if you disagree with me, just like Candace did, which was great. We had a good conversation, don't you think? So anyway, if you have a question, you can send a super chat, and I'll definitely answer those questions. And if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to go to youtube.com/crownrightsmedia. You can join the chat there. And My wife says, I know you're trying to give the benefit of the doubt to a lot of Americans, but honestly, have you met some people out there? Literally, people need their handheld because they're special. Well, yes, some people do need their handheld, but I don't think the government needs to be the one holding the hands all the time. And my wife says, I'm not talking about special needs. There are literally people out there that are just inept at life. That is so true. My wife is on point. So, you can join the Discord if you want to talk, if you want to have a conversation. I know there's already people in there, and so if you want to talk, just send a note, and I will cue you in. So Scott says, unfortunately, there are people not taking the virus seriously. Well, I think that depends on where you live. I don't think the outbreak in Arizona has been that bad. I don't think my personal opinion, as of now, I could be wrong on this, is that I don't think it's going to get that bad here because it's starting to get really warm already. I'm I'm already just already sweating midday here. So it's been a pretty warm day. And they say the flu's going to die once the weather changes, and so it's already changing here in Arizona pretty quickly. So I don't think it'll be as bad here. So a lot of the people I know that aren't taking it as seriously are people that live in areas where the action that's taken by the government hasn't warranted we're talking about losing businesses. I know they're just saying people over profit. But when you shut down profit, you're not caring about people. People lose jobs, they go hungry, they lose their house, they lose their cars, they lose everything they have. They can't support their family. So profit is essential for people. So there's no way that people have a profit thing doesn't make sense. Really. Larry Lawmaster says that he will talk, so I will just cue him in. It's weird how long Discord takes to dial up somebody, isn't it? It's such an awkward, weird time. Maybe I need some I have this on hold music. That's well, I don't want to play it because it'll cut off my Discord. But maybe I should just have my on hold music button for when we're doing Discord calls, because it takes forever for them to for it to connect. I don't know if that's Discord or it might be, because there might be just a lot of people on Discord right now. Larry says, should we have a tea party in Engleton, D.C. on July 4th? I think, man, we need to do something because it's kind of out of control. Well, I don't know why I'm not connecting to Larry. Maybe I could try one more time. I'll try one more time. Larry, if you don't answer, that's your last chance, man. It could be Discord. There just might be a lot of people on Discord right now because everybody's at home and doing video conferencing and streaming. But that sounds pretty good once they're on, so maybe it's not. I don't know. Scott Peranto says Vermont is talking about getting refrigerated trucks for people. Wow. Well, that's really bad. I hope that's not true. But again, even if it is, and Larry, you're not answering, so you can probably message me or something if you're ready to take the call, but I'm not sure why I'm not sure why it's not working for you. I'll try one. I'll try one more time. Maybe if I send you a friend request, it'll work. So, but I mean, if there's that many deaths in Vermont, that's really scary and really sad. But again, I don't think the government has to. I mean, look, man, if they're filling refrigerator trucks with people because the morgues can't handle all the people that have died from the virus, I don't think the government needs to tell people to stay at home. I think for the most part, people will. I think people are able to look out for themselves and care for themselves. I think we've just become we trust the government so much nowadays. It's really, really, really scary how dependent we are to trust the government. And that's the concern here. When this virus happens, our first response is not crying out to God for mercy. Our response is, let's tune in every day and listen to what the president has to say and how he's going to help us. That's our response. It's just as we're just completely wrong about this. We're just going about this all the completely wrong way. The government is not our savior during this time. It is the God of the Bible. And so that's the thing we have to remember. And I think the very fact that we lean so heavily on the government and $1,200 stimulus checks and what the government's going to do about the stock market and what they're going to do about all these people that are losing their businesses. And not one time are we saying, well, let's turn to God, except for the My Pillow guy. He did. He did. All right. So I don't know what's going on with Larry. I don't know why it's not working with him. I could try one more time, Larry. It says I missed a call from him, so let me try call him again. All right, Larry, the call is started. We're giving this another shot. We'll give it about 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Anyway, guys, if you are watching and you would like to call in, and maybe we can see if it's just Larry or if it's us. If you would like to call in, just join the Discord. The link is, if you scroll up in the chat, you should be able to see it. If not, I will post it here. And you should be able to see it. And then, yeah, Larry, it is not connecting to you, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe call me once. See if that works. But I don't know what's going on. Try to call me another time and I'll see if I don't miss it. But other than that, I don't know why it's not connecting for some reason. So, but yeah. So that seems about right. Oh, here we go. Hello, Larry.
Hello? Yeah.
Hey, Larry. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
Good. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I was just kind of wanting to go to church and I can't.
What state are you in?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, did they ban churches in Oklahoma too?
Well, it just seems like a lot of them are just not having it. They'll do a parking lot church, or they had the Admiral Twin drive-in a couple of Thursdays ago where they'd stream it on the screen, but everybody stayed in their car.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the same.
Right. Well, yeah, it's definitely not the same. Do you normally go to a church?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just shut down for a time.
Yeah. Our pastor, they live stream, but his 73. So.
Oh yeah. But see, in those instances, like I think it's wise for the church to put a brief halt on it temporarily. I think I think it was Les Lansfier on my Facebook page who actually posted that it should concern us that God is okay with shutting down worship to Him in this country. Like that should be the biggest judgment. It's like, you know, in Malachi, Malachi talks about it. I think it's Malachi or it could be Micah, but it talks about the priests. God isn't accepting the worship from the priests anymore, and He's rejecting their worship, and that's sort of what's happening here. Is God is just fed up with our worship, and there's a lot of reasons for that, more than I could possibly name. We talk about like crazy mega churches, seeker sensitive churches, all the sort of Joel Osteen sort of lunacy that's been happening. The church's acceptance of gay marriage and gender identity and all these things. So there's a reason why God's like, yeah, I just don't need y'all's worship. I'd rather not have it at all, honestly, than you guys profane my name. So, well, hey, man, I think you are in the spot of a lot of people right now, and I think I don't think it's going to be much longer. And I think that one of the good things is when all this is over with, like true, genuine worship is really going to be a lot sweeter than it's been for most people. And hopefully people won't take it for granted as much as they've had. So
they should. People, hopefully they're knocking down the doors to get back in, coming to church early and not showing up late.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be like that for about maybe 2 weeks. Just like after 9/11, and then, you know, eventually people get back in their routines and forget about it. But
also, I was going to tell you, when I was coming home from work, I messaged this on your Facebook, but I noticed a strip club was open, and their marquee said that it's a corona-free environment, virus-free environment.
Well, that's one virus they don't have there. I'm sure there's a lot of other things you can catch at a strip club. I mean, I mean, when you got all those other diseases, why would they shut down for corona? That's just one other thing. So, but anyway, Larry, thanks for calling, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out.
No problem.
Yeah, man, I heard that, like, you know, strip clubs are open during this time. It's crazy, man. I bet you the porn websites are experiencing massive bursts in like people just staying at home watching porn, which is think about that now. Again, we're under judgment, right? God has said, I don't want your worship. I'm going to close down your churches. He's given us a plague, for sure. And people stay at home and watch porn. So this is why what I've been saying the whole time is I'm not worried about the coronavirus. I'm worried about the second plague and the third and all the way up to the 10th. Like, how many is it going to take for our nation to turn back to Christ? Because my fear is that things are going to go back to normal after this. That's a scary thought. Imagine that. You guys think coronavirus is bad. Wait till the third plague. Like, we don't know what that's going to be. So, you know, I mean, it could be war on our nation. It could, which is far more scary to me, than the virus. I mean, an invading army, or, I mean, who knows what God could send as judgment on our nation? Who knows? But I do know this. After everything's said and done, after repentance has finally come back to our land, the fruit from that reformation will be incredible. The freedom of the gospel, the freedom of our nation, that will result from whatever plagues God sends us now, whatever judgments God sends us now, will be absolutely worth it in the long run. So that's you know, the one thing for Christians is that God's temporal judgments on nations are only temporary. So whatever we're going through now is only temporary, because even if God's judgment winds up in our death, we wake up on the other side of glory, and then we sit and have dinner with Jesus. It's going to be amazing. So there's not, there is a light at the end of the tunnel for Christians in this, and temporally, because Christ is sitting on his throne and he's making all enemies a footstool for his feet, and he is ruling and reigning, and this is just part of turning enemies into furniture. So yeah. So this has been fun. Let's see. I'll check the Discord one more time. Yeah, nobody new in the Discord. My elder says, make sure you're drinking water. Yeah, as you can tell, I have massive sunburn. We've been doing a lot of evangelism outside. It's getting hot. And yes, I have been drinking water, Zach. Thank you for asking. It's starting to get, it's at that time in Arizona. It's probably really dangerous, because when it's hot in Arizona, like, like, okay, I have to have water with me, like, at all times. But it's at that time now where it's like a really nice, like 70, 80 degrees maybe, and the weather's really nice outside, but you forget how dry it is, and you just dehydrate and not even realize it. And so that happened to me Tuesday. You're like, oh no, I'm fine. And then you come home and you have a migraine, and then you sleep for 14 hours. So, and then that it happened to my elder too. So it's just one of those things you got to keep in mind. I need to get me a Camelback. That's probably what I need to do. Zach, we should get that for everybody that goes out to the abortion clinic. We should all have Camelbacks just filled with water. I'm getting one. I don't care. I'm getting. Oh, but I'd have to carry a Camelback and my camera bag at the same time. I'll figure it out. I'll put my camera gear in a messenger bag or something like that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Oh, well, guys. Yeah, Zach says just not the ones that make the water taste like plastic. Yeah, man. I'm going to have to figure out what a good one is. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to get one. I used to have one a while back ago. I loved it. When I worked at Busch Gardens, and I think I had a Camelback, which was really great because there were times where you had to just walk behind the scenes of the park, and so you could have a Camelback and you could fill it up with water and you'd be good all day. So yeah, that's a good idea. So my mom says to use a fanny pack. I can't put my camera gear in a fanny pack. My camera is way too big to be able to do that. So, anyways, hope you guys are doing well. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show today. Thank you guys so much for joining on YouTube. Please be sure, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook, go to youtube.com/crownartsmedia, and please subscribe and like and comment on this video there. Really appreciate that. And hopefully, well, we got one more person just joined, 523. Phil King. Let me ask him if he wants to take the call, because I don't ever want to. Did you want to talk? Let's find out. If he says yes, we'll stay on. If not, we'll end the stream. It's all riding on Phil King right now. It's all up to him. The length of the show, completely dependent on a response from him. Oh, he does. Okay, so here we go. Let me call him real quick. Hey, Phil, how are you?
Hi. I hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you. What
Can
state are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Northern Ireland,
Oh,
part
hey.
part of the UK.
Did I talk to you this week or last week?
No.
Oh.
I would watch some of your stuff though. You know,
Oh, okay,
I would
different.
comment
Well,
on.
because I've been doing interviews with people from Ireland
All right, cool, yeah.
about the abortion stuff that's happening there. It's crazy. So I didn't
Yeah.
know if you were one of the Phils that I talked to. But I
No,
guess not.
Northern Ireland. It's just been passed into law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
This week
fill
in Northern
everybody in.
Ireland.
Yeah, let me fill everybody in. So, Northern Ireland has just there wasn't abortion except for extreme medical emergencies in Ireland, Northern Ireland, and it was just recently passed into law by force from England.
Yep.
And so you guys have sort of had essentially tyranny imposed upon you against the will of the people and the politicians of Northern Ireland. A lot of people don't know that. And to make things worse, you can tell I've been doing a lot of stuff on this recently because I'm working on a video on it. So that's why. To make things worse, Right to Life and the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission, hence Russell Moore, have invaded England, and they've recommended abortion regulations that are awful because they don't think it's worth fighting. And the mentality is, well, if we don't present to them these right to life regulations, which, 12 weeks, abortion, 12 weeks, all these sort of things. If we don't present to these regulations, then it'll just be abortions whenever, as opposed to saying, you know what, we're going to help you guys fight it so you guys don't have to deal with it. They've sort of turned over and whatnot. So anyways, just let you know, I'm aware of the situation. And now the people that are watching the stream are aware of the situation in Northern Ireland. And I'm praying for you. And I'm working on things to help you guys. So
Cool. Yeah. I was just going to say, appreciate what you yourself are doing, what Sai is doing, and the rest of the guys out there. We would follow a lot of the stuff online. And this is something that's it's very new now.
Yeah.
And as you say, it's being pushed through, but it's against the will, the people.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Anything else you wanted to talk about, or is that just you wanted to bring that to my attention, or?
Well, I think as well the whole virus thing that's going on. We're a couple of weeks ahead of yourselves as far as things are going down with lockdown and all that sort of stuff as well. Churches, the church that I would go to, decided that because of such a wide range of members, from right through to the elderly, that it would be for the sake of their, our church community, that we're now doing, services on YouTube or Zoom and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's also a spanner in as far as
You're breaking up a little bit, but you said that essentially your church is, because it has such a mixed variety of ages, that your church decided that it would be best because to meet on Zoom and stuff like that.
Yeah, on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I spoke earlier. I don't know how long you were with the stream for, but I spoke earlier and I stated that I didn't mind churches doing that. I think that's a good thing for churches to do. My concern is when they say, well, the government is making us stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the sort of thing that I don't think the Covenanters would have spoken too highly of.
Well, just a second, appreciate what you guys are doing, and we'll keep an eye out on your stream and stuff, on anything new, that you're going to help us with.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Definitely working on something. So, still got a few more interviews to do, and then I'll put it together. So hopefully soon.
Thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thanks, Phil.
Take care. All right, bye.
How cool is that, man? A phone call from Ireland? I guess it's probably almost midnight there, 11:30, maybe around that time. How cool is that? It's a worldwide show. It's a worldwide stream. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I think I'm going to call it there. We've been doing this for 2 hours. I might do a stream this weekend. I think my wife is working overtime, so maybe Saturday morning I might do another stream, and we can talk some more. Thank you guys to everybody that is part of the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for joining, subscribing, being a part of everything there. Really appreciate it. It really means a lot. And thank you guys to everybody on Facebook. Oh, 1:30 in the morning there. Oh, that explains why I was a guy that I interviewed was like that far. I think somebody told me the wrong. I don't know how I got the time that I got. Do you have one time zone in Ireland, or are there multiple time zones in Ireland? I imagine it's just all one time zone. Anyways, it's a lot later than I thought it was in Ireland. Nico says, "Hey Marcus, I heard you mention it briefly in another stream, but what does the Bible say about price gouging?" The Bible doesn't really say anything about price gouging. It talks about fair weights and measures and of course the basic law of economics. But the point I was making about price gouging is that price gouging stops hoarding, and it also makes it so people who really need something can get it. So the law of supply and demand works essentially like if there is a lot of supply, the price goes down so people can sell it off. But if there's a lot of demand, the price goes up. And part of that is that it prevents people from hoarding. So you have people that went and bought 1,000 rolls of toilet paper they're never going to use and they're not able to return. So they're just sitting in the basement somewhere when there's people that might actually need some. They can't get them, even though they're willing to pay extra money for them. And so it hurts. And also, of course, business owners have to do more work to acquire inventory during times of increased demand. So I know there was a guy that got arrested. I saw it in the police department posted the video. They posted a photo of like toilet paper and Lysol that they confiscated from this guy's store because he price gouged it, according to them. Now, I want you to imagine you're a business owner and you're trying to get toilet paper and Lysol and all these products to meet the demand that's happening right now, which the demand is crazy. You probably have to spend a lot more time finding this inventory in order to sell it. And because you're spending more time, the cost of the product is going to go up. But the government says, well, you can't increase the prices because that's price gouging. Well, at that point, it's not worth it for the business owner to even sell toilet paper anymore. And so now the products are harder to get. So that's one of the things that price. I know, like price gouging has a negative connotation to it, but